Facing the same old problems every day makes me want to holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, we need them. We need those strategies. Those strategies for living. Are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
Oh, I am ready. I'm feeling cold.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
Because it is time for Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, Lauren Leon McMillian.
Yes, that's me. And
That's
I'm
you.
here. I'm loud and clear. Have you decided to unmute your wife? I appreciate
it. Hands of a surgeon over here. Mind of a bumblebee, but the hands of a surgeon.
That's okay. I was just saying that I'm very excited, and I'm actually feeling very pulled to this guest.
Well, it's magnetic, isn't it? That's why you're pulled.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hey, folks, welcome into Strategies for Living. And let me ask you something, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Scale of 1 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
How big do you think for most people the fear of rejection is?
Ooh, overall,
Yeah.
I would guess 8.
Yeah, I'm going to guess an 11.
Okay.
I really do think, the fear of rejection or not feeling ready holds a lot of us back.
Yeah, I think a lot
from
of
opportunities.
Us, a lot of us are seeking for external validation that perhaps we never received or haven't learned to give to ourselves, rather.
So what if we run in today? What if we run in a charisma coach on us?
Ooh, I like the
You like that?
sound
You
of
like that idea?
Yeah.
A charisma
coach.
And it's a charisma coach who is going to tell us how to push past this fear of rejection. She is Malia Rogers. She's written a book called Magnetic Allure that we're going to talk about today. It's the blueprint to building a network of referral partners. And Malia is on a mission to change our fear of rejection, our fear of not feeling ready.
All right.
And I think I'm ready for all of it.
I am too.
I am magnetically attracted.
Bring it on.
Folks, thank you for tuning into Strategies for a Living. Appreciate you being here with us. And we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX and the Balanced Life Wellness Center and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, alligator Italian sausage, and some pretty good muffies too. Malia Rogers is our life strategist today. We're going to address the fear of rejection, not feeling ready. That's today here on Strategies for Living. Be right back.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem drab. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
Hey, welcome in. Welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, and Malia Rogers is our life strategist today. And let me tell you a little bit about Malia. She is a first-generation American. She's the founder of Medigap Pros, holds a master's in business administration. Her entrepreneurial drive and innovative strategies have propelled her business to grow organically, serving thousands of families all over the country. She currently mentors insurance agents nationwide, and passionate as she is about helping entrepreneurs grow their business, and so passionate that she wrote a book called Magnetic Allure. I'm holding it in my hands. I'll hold it up to the radio for you to see. The blueprint to building a network of referral partners. Malia, welcome to Strategies.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you, David and Lauren. I'm excited to connect with you both today.
This, I've been looking forward to our time together, and I tell you, you sent us your book, and Lauren, I didn't even have a chance to share this with you.
Yeah.
So you can tell the kind of person that Malia is by the bookmark, the bookmark that she sent.
Yes.
So I've never quite seen. I get a lot of bookmarks because we do the program, and people send us books, and some people, not all, but I really appreciate when some send a bookmark. Mm-hmm. But your bookmark, you've got the little stickies on top, that have quotes to remember, and then you've got must implement as another one of the little sticky notes. You got two sets of little sticky notes, and then you've got a quote from you. Yeah. I believe anyone can be magnetic. If an inanimate object can be magnetic, so can you. Now that makes you think. So thank you, Malia. Thank you for going the extra mile.
You're probably the first person that's ever mentioned the bookmark. So thank you for that.
Well, I like to zoom in on little things, and you can tell, about people from the little things, right? And
so true.
I know this is a little thing, but man, I know I'm going to use this bookmark, and I know I'm going to use this book too. That fear of rejection.
Well, thank you.
Fear of rejection and not feeling ready. I asked Lauren on a 1 to 10 scale, how big is the problem of fear of rejection? She said 8. I said 11. So before we get into a marital argument, we better have you settle it.
No pressure, Malia.
No pressure, no. How big is this problem?
I'll say, I think that it is the top 2 things that hold entrepreneurs back. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of times people think of a really good idea and then they start talking themselves out of it because of the fear of rejection or the fear of being criticized. And unfortunately, a lot of people let the fear of rejection prevent them and stop them from pursuing big things or goals in life. Mm. So that's why I wrote a whole chapter on that subject.
Yeah. How did you decide to become a charisma coach? That's another thing. I've never seen a bookmark like this. And I've never seen the term charisma coach. And I'm magnetically attracted to both of these things. So how'd you come up with that?
Okay.
Charisma coach. I like that.
Here's the thing is I actually grew up as a profoundly shy individual. Mm-hmm. And I was so afraid to speak to strangers that it wasn't until I was in college that I started pushing myself out to speak to strangers. And then over time, I tried different things and I worked on myself and read a lot of books and watched a lot of videos. And then I discovered after all the research that charisma is something that you can develop and build over time, which is super encouraging, especially coming from someone who is a true introvert, you know, afraid to speak to strangers. And now I speak to strangers every day, all over the country. So if I can do it, I really believe that anyone can do it.
So one of the things that you talk about is both personally and professionally, Malia, is to become the kind of person that people want to know. Why does that? Why do you think that matters?
Yes. So if you want to do anything big in life, let's just say you want to start a nonprofit, or you want to start a business, or you want to change legislation, or anything huge, you can't do it yourself. You're going to need help from others. And I believe that it used to be it's who you know, but nowadays it's actually who knows you. Because if they know you, people are more willing to reach out and help. Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. Yeah. So
I think you could go further in life if people know who you are. And I think that's why eyeballs is considered the new currency.
Okay.
Okay. And so for listeners, you know, listening now, what would you suggest as a strategy to start that process of getting
the
people?
beginning place. Yeah.
Where's the start for getting people to know you or want to know you?
Yes. So the biggest thing is putting yourself out there. And I know it's easier said than done. One of the chapters in my book I talk about is how to become known as an interesting person. And there's three elements to that. To become an interesting person, you would have to, you know, like interesting people, and I studied this, they like to geek out. They don't just dabble in subjects. And the truth is we all are obsessed over something, right?
Yeah.
It could be, you know, insects or psychology or cooking. But whatever you spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos on or reading up on, that's going to be your key thing that you're interested in. Okay. And then the second element is you want to be authentic and genuine. So being authentic means that you're being true to yourself and that you're not, you know, interested in a certain topic just because it's mainstream.
Right.
And if you think about, authentic artifacts, the more valuable it is. What makes it valuable is that it's original and not imitated. So humans are the same way. We all have our own unique perspectives, experiences, and knowledge that we could bring to the table. So stay true to yourself, being genuine, and being genuine is basically how people can relate to you. So what they see is what they get. There's no ulterior motive when you're talking to them. They view you as trustworthy.
Yeah.
But then the third element, which I think is one of the harder ones, is that you have to be willing to share your knowledge with others. And that means putting yourself out there, you know, making videos and sharing your interests with people, starting a podcast, or even just working your knowledge in when you're having a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
So I would say if you work on those things and be willing to put yourself out there, then it's so funny that it catches on really quickly.
So are you saying, because you're, as we said a minute ago, you identify as a charisma coach, and some people would say, well, I'm not naturally charismatic, right? So am I hearing you right? Are you saying, Malia, that I can learn how to be charismatic. I can learn charisma. Am I hearing that right?
Yes, absolutely. I did over a year's worth of research on charisma and characteristics that make you magnetic. And it's backed by science, too. I found all these characteristics and why they make you magnetic and how it makes you charismatic. And it was super encouraging to find that most of the people that you see today, either on social media or on YouTube, influencers, a lot of them actually claim to have been unpolished and awkward themselves at one point.
Right.
So that was super encouraging. And one of my favorite authors, Vanessa Van Edwards, she wrote a book called Cues, and she has this really cool formula that's super easy on building charisma. So charisma is the perfect balance between warmth and competence. And usually if there's a lack of charisma, then it's an imbalance of one or the other. So for example, if someone is super warm, but they lack competence, then you're not going to take them seriously.
Right.
And on the other hand, if they're super competent, but they're not warm, then you're going to find them to be intimidating.
Obviously, we have lots to learn from Malia Rogers today on Strategies for Living. Her book is Magnetic Allure. I want to talk about that title when we come back. Malia Rogers, our life strategist today, here on Strategies for Living. Lots more to come, lots more to learn. Stay right here. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
And welcome back in. Welcome back into your daily dose of Radio Rehab. We call it Strategies for Living. We're glad you're here with us. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, with our life strategist, the author of Magnetic Allure. She is Malia Rogers. It's Magnetic Allure. You can find it where you buy books. It's the blueprint to building a network of referral partners. And you can also find Malia at MaliaRogers.com. MaliaRogers, MaliaRogers.com. So, Malia, we started talking about the fear of rejection, right? And then we started talking about the kind of person that everybody wants to know, and charisma, being charismatic. Tie that back in to us, for us, to this.
Where does fear of rejection?
Where the fear of rejection thing comes in. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I'll start by sharing one of my favorite stories about overcoming the fear of rejection.
Wonderful.
Have you ever heard of, do you know who Jamie Kern Lima is? She is the New York Times bestselling author of 2 books, Believe It and Worthy, and also the founder of It Cosmetics.
Oh, okay.
So her story really inspires me when it comes to fear of rejection, because when she was building this company and this vision of It Cosmetics, she was told over 100 times that her vision would not work. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, QVC declined to sell her products for 3 years. Sephora told her no for 6 years. And then she even had an investor tell her that he wouldn't invest in her because women would not buy makeup from someone who looked like her. And so, yeah, it makes you wonder, like, now how much rejection is too much, right? But she pushed through it anyways. And in 2016, she sold her company, It Cosmetics, to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion and became the very first female CEO in L'Oreal's 100-year history. And it put her on the top 15 Forbes richest self-made women list. So
Wow.
What I always wonder is, what would have happened if she had gave up too soon? And so, let me ask the audience this. How many times would someone have to tell you your idea would never work before you decided to give up?
Great question for all of us.
The fear of rejection, Yes. And one of the things that she did, Jamie Kern Lima, she reframed rejection. And it's all about reframing it in our mind. So her mantra was, rejection is God's protection, and God's delays are not his denials. And so her whole thing was, if someone had said no to her way earlier on, she would have given up way more of her business and would have sold it for way less. And then the other thing, I have a few strategies, and I'll tell you 2 of my top ones.
Okay. Right.
The first one, this is the one I use the most. It's called the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins.
Yep.
Have you heard of that?
Heard of it.
Yes.
I'm not from, I can't quote it to you. Share it with us.
Okay. So the 5-second rule, basically what happened was Mel Robbins, who's now an inspirational speaker, there was a dark time in her life where she couldn't even get out of bed. She was depressed and broke, and she would always hit the snooze button when the alarm came up. So one day she was watching TV and she saw an ad for a rocket launch, and it gave her the idea. Okay, what if tomorrow morning when the alarm goes off, I count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then launch myself out of bed. And the next day she did it, and sure enough, it worked. And remember, we talked about how we come up with a really good idea, and then your brain, because it's in protection mode, wants to protect you from things such as rejection.
Right.
You actually have to take action before your brain starts talking you out of things.
Yeah.
So if you Yes. So if you are at a party and you see someone you really want to go introduce yourself to, you need to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and start walking over there before you chicken out. So it works with procrastination, but I think when you think of, okay, I'm going to go ask that person that question, or I'm going to pitch this to them, that it's important to think of the 5-second rule and just do it. Feel the fear and do it anyways, because what ends up happening is something positive could come out of it, and then it builds a positive reinforcement. And then the worst thing that can happen, we have to remind ourselves, is if they reject you, you didn't die.
Yeah.
You know,
Good point.
you just feel really terrible for a little bit.
Yeah. When you were telling the story, I couldn't help but think of a previous life strategist, one Jack Canfield. I don't know if you recognize that name, but he and Mark Victor Hansen did all the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And this has been many years ago. I had the privilege of interviewing him. And he was talking about how many times, I mean, they had this idea and they knew it was a good idea. They felt down in every cell of their body it was a good idea. But I think they got something like, if I'm remembering right, 34 publishers rejected them. And they got rejection letter after rejection letter after rejection letter. And finally, a little publisher in Florida decided we're going to take a chance on this. And of course, we know, I mean, Chicken Soup for the Soul isn't just a set of books now, it's a whole industry. Right. and that publisher, that publisher that took a chance became a major publishing company because they did. And I mean, I can't help but think of that. And I'm going to tie that back into, magnetic, right? Yeah. So we are magnetic beings. I mean, we're electromagnetic beings.
Yeah, down to our cells.
Yeah, down to every
atoms.
cell of our body. The magnetism is part of the way that we work scientifically.
Yes,
yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
So can you break down the core quality that makes someone truly magnetic from your Magnetic Allure principle?
Yeah, so in my book, I talk about 9 characteristics that make a person magnetic. So the first one was being known as an interesting person. Also, magnetic people usually have a tribe. And then they also have a magnetic signature voice. And I know you both understand this because you do radio, but the sound of your voice truly matters. And have you ever talked to someone over the phone and then later on you meet with them and they look different than what you imagined?
Yeah.
It's because our brain works in pictures. And so when you hear someone's voice, you automatically start forming a picture of what they look like, which proves that your voice really does matter.
Right.
And magnetic people also are really good at unveiling hidden gems in other people. They can spot talent and recognize potential in others before they can even recognize talent in themselves. So that's another characteristics. And then they radiate gratitude and appreciation. They also spend a lot of time serving others. There's definitely a component of when you serve other people, then you're going to be more empathetic.
Yeah.
I have a few more left. I know that we're running low on time here, but also magnetic people are really good at matchmaking, and not just matchmaking for love interests, but also in business and friendships. They like to connect other people to other people.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. Yes, they weave lives together. They do have a digital presence because you could be the most interesting person in the world, but if people don't know that you exist, then it doesn't matter as much.
Right. If they can't find you,
and then
today they got to be able to find you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And then the last one was that they have charisma. But all of these traits are traits that you can develop and build over time. So that's really encouraging when I discovered that.
Yes, absolutely. And I would wonder if we aren't all, scientifically, we are all magnetic. So if in the same way we aren't all truly magnetic, but we cover it up with a lot of negative self-talk or trauma or past wounds.
Yeah.
Right. So when and you're right about that, Lauren, because the interesting thing that I discovered when I did all the research is that originally I was thinking, qualities of a magnetic person metaphorically. And then later I did find out that research shows that the human heart produces electromagnetic fields that can be measured up to 3 feet from your body.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Yes. And so electromagnetic can be temporary versus magnetic, which is permanent. And when I discovered that, I found that to be very validating, that people can be legitimately physically magnetic.
Yes. Magnetic Allure. That is Malia Rogers' book. You can find her at MaliaRogers.com. But stay here with us here on Strategies for Living, because we've got more today to learn from Malia Rogers, our life strategist, here on Strategies for Living. Be right back. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living. Radio.
And welcome back in. Welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian with our life strategist today, the author of Magnetic Allure, Malia Rogers. And Magnetic Allure is the blueprint to building a network of referral partners. You can find it wherever you buy books, and you can check out Malia at MaliaRogers.com.
As we're talking about this idea of magnetism and magnetic allure, I can't help but think about the idea of the law of attraction and all of those ideas, and especially I think people do that especially for relationships, which is a lot of what you do, Malia. So, what would you say are some common misconceptions that people have about attracting healthy relationships?
That is a great question. And so the common misconception that I could think of is that when you meet someone, a lot of people make the mistake of trying to impress the other person. And when you do that, it does the opposite. And so if you are meeting someone for the first time, you're actually better off. The better strategy is to ask them questions about themselves. And one secret is that the more someone thinks you know about them, the more likely they're going to really like you.
Yeah, we were interviewing a prominent local person a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "You sure do know a lot about me." And this was a prominent.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I took it as a compliment, and I just said to him, "Well, that we did our homework,
right?
You know, this is what we're supposed to be doing, so we can ask you hopefully intelligent questions or halfway intelligent."
Yeah, but it's so funny because people don't take the time to do research because everybody's thinking about themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's kind of rare these days to actually do homework on someone. And so I think it makes you stand out in their mind.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
You just gave me an idea for a book, you know.
Okay.
Tap into your inner talk show host.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not that you,
yeah.
not
Actually,
that you have
would
to
be
be.
huge.
Yeah.
I think that would be huge. I think a lot of people want to start podcasting right now because everybody has a really important message to share with the world. So that would be a really helpful book, actually.
Yeah, I may do. I'll jot that down. I'll try to remember it.
We'll put it on the list.
Put it on the list of books to write. Malia, was there a time when you found yourself thinking, you know, because, again, you've done a lot. Magnetic Allure is packed full of great stuff. Got a good website. You're teaching other people. Was there ever a time where you thought, who am I to do all of this, you know? And because I think that's part of that fear of rejection thing we were talking about. And how did you get past that? How do we all get past that?
So absolutely. In fact, my book, as you see, it's super short. It's only 100 pages long, but it took me almost 2 years to write that book for that reason of self-doubt. And while I was writing my book, I kept thinking, well, who am I? I'm not an author. Who's going to want to read my book? So I actually didn't even tell anyone in my close circle for a really long time that I was working on a book, just in case I chickened out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until halfway before I was through with the book that I even started to tell people about it. So I had all this self-doubt, and I kept persevering and pushing through that negative feeling anyways. And even up till the end of my book writing journey, the day before the book launch, I was still doubting myself. So I read somewhere that the average author will sell about 200 copies of their book in their lifetime. So when I was about to click the button, you know, the share button to share with the world, about my book launch, I had it in my head that I was going to sell 30 copies. You know, I felt that it was a realistic goal, and I would just feel really good about myself if I could sell at least 30 copies. Well, I ended up selling over 300 copies that first month.
Oh, wow.
And my book shot up. Yeah, it shot up to #1 Amazon best-selling categories in 3 categories.
Wow.
And it stayed top seller for nearly 2 months. So I became an Amazon best-selling author. Thank you. But it almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because if I had listened to my self-doubt, then I would not be able to share that story today.
Well,
so
thank you.
I guess the moral of the story. Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking that question. So the moral of the story is you're going to feel the fear. You're going to feel the self-doubt, but push through it anyways.
Yeah.
One of the things that I know are big on is one of the things that Lauren and I talk about with some regularity here on Strategies, and that is celebrating the small wins, not just the biggies like, selling 300 books or selling 10,000 books or whatever, but to celebrate the small victories too, because that's powerful and it's important for building confidence, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So your body doesn't actually know the difference. Well, you both probably already know this, but your body doesn't know the difference between a small win versus a big win. And so it still releases the same chemicals, right? So that's why when you see an athlete that has been out of commission for a while and then they come back, or they just had surgery and they're recovering, so they're coming back, usually their coach will pair them up with someone that's like an easier opponent, so that way that they could have a win, and then it would create like a winning streak, and then that way you can have an upward winning spiral. So if you celebrate the mini wins along the way, it helps propel you and encourages you to push through the final finish line. Kind of like marathons, they have, the 5 mile markers along the way,
right,
so that you can be encouraged. Yeah, and you can look back and see how far you have been and then how much further you have to go. So I definitely recommend to celebrate your wins, keeping a journal of your victories, the little victories that create excitement.
Yeah.
So
I like that
and then
too.
every time you go into something that's kind of scary or big, or you're facing some discouragement, you just look back at your journal.
Yeah, and see how far you've come already.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like it too. There's so much here. This book is packed full. And I've already asked our producer for a couple of more hours with Malia Rogers, but he's in there shaking his foot down. Yeah, he's shaking his head. So, Malia, you're just going to have to come back. In the meantime, folks, you can continue the conversation with Malia Rogers by getting a copy of Magnetic Allure. Malia Rogers, and you can find her at MaliaRogers.com. You can find Magnetic Allure where you buy books. We'll be right back.
You to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail, alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. On the sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather, alligator Italian sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather, alligator Italian sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress? Pain? Feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's. Thebalancedlife.us. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian David McMillian with Malia Rogers, the author of Magnetic Allure, the blueprint to building a network of referral partners. You know, and Malia, Lauren and I recognize this is not a big book, and yet it's packed full. We just barely scratched the surface today on what's in this book. So what do you want to leave folks listening? What do you want to leave us with as a parting thought today on strategies?
If there was just one thing, I would say that anyone can be magnetic. So you can be too. And all it takes is one person, meeting one person to change your life. But you have to put yourself out there.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That's right.
I'm thinking of, and I think it was Thomas Edison. Mm-hmm. He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times.
That's it.
I just figured out 10,000 ways
that didn't work.
That's right. and I kind of hear you. I kind of hear you saying the same kind of thing. Is you put yourself out there, and it's a process,
and
right?
We all have something to give. I heard that too.
Yes, kind of like the magnet. Did you ever play with one of those magnets when you're a kid? You just put it up to all these different things and try different things, and then one of them will stick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Malia Rogers, thank you so much for being a great life strategist. Thank you for the work you're doing. Keep it up. And thank you for being a great life strategist on Strategies for Living.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you back soon. Folks, in the meantime, go get a copy of Magnetic Allure, Malia Rogers. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and some pretty good muffies, too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Malia Rogers and for Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.